you guys. It's me, Miss Janae, and I'm so sad that I can't be with you guys this morning. I love that we get to spend time with our family, get to hang out with our siblings and stuff like that. But I really missed you guys. Miss Haley and I really missed you guys. We missed you so much that we decided that we are going to send some videos of some Bible stories and some devotionals every Sunday and possibly Wednesday or Tuesday. One of those days, whichever one, we're going to send a midweek devotional and every Sunday a Bible story. So, it is my turn to read the Bible story for today, and we are going to be reading from 1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 1. Now, in this story, this is talking about hearing God's voice. And I know that the last time I saw some of you guys, we talked about praying. How the only way for you to have a really good relationship with someone or a really good friendship with someone, you have to talk to them. You have to talk to them about anything and everything. So it's the same thing with God. In order for us to have a great relationship with Him, we got to talk to Him, and that's in prayer. And not only do we have to talk, but we also have to listen, because God not only listens, but He speaks to us as well. And isn't it so cool that the maker of the whole universe actually talks to us? I think that's crazy. So I want to talk about one of my homies in the Bible. His name is Samuel, and he is in a predicament where he thinks he hears his mentor, and then he realizes it's actually God talking to him. So again, let's turn in our Bibles to 1 Samuel chapter 3, and I'm going to start reading at verse 1. Don't worry, I know some of you can't read yet, but Miss Janae got you covered, okay? Starting at verse 1. Now, the boy Samuel was ministering to the Lord before Eli, and word from the Lord was rare in those days. Visions were more frequent. Okay, let's just pause right there. Something for us to learn about listening to God's voice is that there's many ways that God speaks to us, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. And one of those ways is that, yes, He does talk to us through His Word, but back at this time, the Bible wasn't finished being written yet. So, as it said, word from the Lord was rare in those days. Hearing God like you hear your mom or your dad or your brother or your sister was very rare back then. So, what was more usual is visions like dreams or your imagination. Verse 2, it happened at that time as Eli was laying down in his place. Now his eyesight had begun to grow dim, and he could not see well, and the lamp of God had not yet gone out. And Samuel was laying down in the temple of the Lord where the ark of God was. That the Lord called Samuel, and he said, "Here I am." Then he ran to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." But he said, "I did not call. Lie down again." Let's read that again. It says, it happened at that time as Eli was laying down in his place. Now his eyesight had begun to grow dim, and he could not see well. So Eli is Samuel's mentor. Do you guys know what a mentor is? It's okay, I can tell you. A mentor is somebody that helps you grow up and be the best person that you can be. So a mentor can be like a football coach or a soccer coach. A mentor can be a teacher like your music teacher or a teacher from your classroom. A mentor can be someone that you look up to, that you can get advice from about anything that goes on in your life. So Samuel's mentor was Eli. And it says in verse 4 that the Lord called Samuel, and he said, "Here I am." Then he ran to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." But he said, "I did not call. Lay down again." So he went and laid down. The Lord called yet again, "Samuel." So Samuel rose and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." But he answered, "I did not call." my son. Lie down again." Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, nor had the word of the Lord yet been revealed to him. So the Lord called Samuel again for the third time. And he arose and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." Then Eli discerned that the Lord was calling the boy. And Eli said to Samuel, "Go lie down. And it shall be, if he calls you, that you shall say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went and lay down in his place. Then the Lord came and stood and called as at other times, "Samuel, Samuel." And Samuel said, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." The Lord said to Samuel, "Behold, I am about to do a thing in Israel, at which both ears of everyone who hears it will tingle." Okay, so let's review what just happened. So Samuel is laying down in his bed. It's bedtime. He's laying down, and his mentor or his teacher is laying down in a totally different room. And Samuel, while he's sleeping, all of a sudden hears his voice, "Samuel." So he gets up and he runs to Eli, because there's nobody else who could have called his name but his mentor, Eli. He runs to him and he says, "Here I am, you called me." And Eli wakes up like, "I didn't call you. Go lay back down." He probably rolls back over. We don't know. The Bible doesn't say, but this is just Miss Janae's imagination going wild. He goes back to lay back down. Samuel walks away, probably thinking, "Okay, I know I heard my name. No, I'm not crazy." But he just decided to lay back down again. Then he heard his name a second time, "Samuel." Gets up again. Like, man, I know I heard my name. He goes back to Eli and he's like, "Here I am. You called me." And Eli's like, "I didn't call you. Go to bed." Can you imagine if you heard your voice while you were sleeping in your room and you went to your parents' room and said, "Here I am. You called me," and your parents are like, "We didn't call you. Go back to bed." And this happens to you twice. Then you go back to your bed, you lay down, and you hear your name again, "Samuel." Get up. You're like, "What is going on?" You go back to your parents' room, but Samuel didn't have his parents at this time, or he didn't have his parents to go to, so he went to his mentor Eli, because he was sleeping in the temple, because he was training to become a teacher and a pastor, a prophet, like Eli was. So he goes back to Eli's room and he's like, "Here I am, you called me." And Eli began to understand, you know what? I think that the Lord is calling his name. So, how about this? "Samuel, listen, buddy. The next time you hear your name, don't come back in here, because it's not me talking to you. I think it's God. The next time you hear his voice, you just say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" Now, my friends, here's what I want us to think about for the rest of this week until we see you guys next time, okay? I want you to think about hearing God's voice. The only way that you can hear something is to make sure that you're listening, right? If you're talking, you're not listening. So, as much as it is important for us to pray to God, to talk to God about whatever is on our hearts, it is just as important to make sure that we're silent so we can listen for the voice of God. And it doesn't matter how old you are, how little you are, or how you don't always understand everything about God. You don't have to understand everything in order to hear the voice of God. So, here's my challenge to you this week till we see you next time. I want you to continue to practice talking to God in prayer, whether you do that with your brother or your sister or your mom or your dad or whoever you're around, or just by yourself in your room when you wake up in the morning. You can get up and pray, but then I want you to try and set a timer. I want you to try and spend 2 minutes. Don't worry, I know you guys got this. 2 minutes of after you pray, I want you to just quietly listen. just quietly set a timer for 2 minutes and don't say one word and just fold your hands, or however you pray. It's totally up to you because this is your relationship with God. Whatever you do, however you set up to pray, do that. And after you get done praying, I want you to set a timer for 2 minutes for you to just listen to God's voice, just like our friend Samuel. Well, you guys, that's all the time we have for Bible story today. I miss you guys so much. Send Miss Haley and I some pictures from the email. There's an email that'll be sent out to your parents. Tell your parents to take some pictures of you guys, of whatever you're doing during quarantine. And also, I want to see and we want to hear about how you were praying and how you were listening for God's voice. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.